P Diddy. Give him enough rope. One of the most important videos for people to watch to understand about narcissism and how to deal with a narcissist is my video, Give the Narcissist Enough Rope. On many occasions, when people are first involved with narcissists, they don't realise what they're dealing with, and then at a future point, they will have some enlightenment and find out that they're dealing with a suspected narcissist, or indeed a confirmed narcissist. But they often find themselves overwhelmed. They might be involved in an ongoing dispute with the narcissist, commonly in relation to divorce or child custody. And often they feel that the narcissist is winning, that the narcissist is getting their own way, that the narcissist is succeeding in charming other individuals and pulling the wool over their eyes. And they feel like they can't succeed, that it's all going against them. And I regularly explain to people in consultation the necessity of the accumulation of the evidence and allowing the narcissist to be hoisted by their own petard. I.e., if you give the narcissist enough rope, they will hang themselves. The vast majority of narcissists are what I categorize as lesser, lower lesser, middle lesser, upper lesser type A and upper lesser type B, alongside mid-range, lower mid-range, middle range A, middle range B, and upper mid-range. All of those narcissists are unaware. All of those narcissists operate instinctively. All of those narcissists are the ones that are most susceptible to the concept of give them enough rope. This is because they act in the moment without any due regard for what's gone before or what will come next. Thus, there are collateral consequences. It means that they will invariably generate evidence of their poor behaviours. You need to be available to capture and catch that evidence. Give it enough time, and the narcissist will provide you with repeated instances of their poor behaviour, their abhorrent doings, their disgusting activities, which you are then able to capture in some evidential form and use it to your advantage. The narcissist does not see that they've necessarily done anything wrong, or where they have, where they do recognise it, they explain it away and justify it. Thus, they will always come up with an excuse or an explanation. But the problem with that is, it's often incongruous with the explanation they've given previously, and thus they start to become tangled in their own web of lies. They will never accept it, remember, because their narcissism blinds them to it. But others, the arbiters, the decision makers, are more likely to do so, and therefore you ought not to feel that you're ultimately overwhelmed, but rather you need to adopt a cool, calm head, to be there to collect the evidence by allowing the narcissist to do what they do so that they generate the evidence themselves, which you are then on hand to capture, which you can then use for your own peace of mind to show that they are the problem so that you understand that for yourself, or to utilize in ongoing proceedings so that other people can see that this person is the problem and make the appropriate ruling or judgment. Rest assured, the narcissist, especially the lesser and mid-range variety, cannot help themselves but behave in the way that they do because that is the way that they are designed. They do not learn from their mistakes because they do not believe they have made any. That is to your advantage. It means that the entitled narcissist, with their arrogance and blindness, will keep on doing certain things. In isolation, it's very easy for the narcissist to deny them, to appear more convincing than the victim, so that people think, yeah, she's hysterical, she's talking nonsense, and they leave it be. Whenever these incidents pop up in isolation, they're a threat to control, but the narcissist is invariably in a better position to silence people, sometimes through threat, sometimes through financial means, sometimes with further manipulations that are utilized, so that the overall picture doesn't come out and be seen by a large number of people. However, with these lesser and mid-range narcissists, there ultimately comes a reckoning, because through the passage of time, they simply build up so many examples. There are so many skeletons in the cupboard that one or two will come out, often as a consequence of a reaction to what the narcissist has done. That becomes publicized, and thus other people who've been similarly mistreated come forward with their evidence, so that a trickle becomes a stream, becomes a river, becomes a torrent, and it is then that the court of public opinion, or a formal legal court, can see that there is a vast array of evidence that points to the poor behaviour of this particular individual, and that the evidence is cogent, credible, and to be believed. As stated, complainants in isolation are often shot down. Their credibility is attacked, they're painted as hysterical, they're painted as perhaps blackmailers, and on an individual basis, it's often quite easy for the narcissist to shut them up. But where one voice becomes many, and invariably will do, because of the haphazard way that the narcissist conducts themselves, this leads to exposure. We saw it with the Me Too movement, where the activities of people such as Harvey Weinstein, suddenly the dots were joined by the various victims, with the consequence that there was a body of evidence that could be pointed to, showing his poor behaviour over and over again. One of those narcissists that belongs to the unaware grouping is now finding that he is being exposed as a consequence of give the narcissist enough rope. As reported by CNN, Adria English, a former adult film actor who says she worked for P Diddy between 2004 and 2009, accused the embattled music mogul of sex trafficking and sexual assault, according to a lawsuit filed on Wednesday. The 114-page complaint alleges that P Diddy and other defendants in the lawsuit used her as a sexual pawn for the pleasure and financial benefit of others during white parties at Diddy's home in the Hamptons, New York, and Miami, Florida. The complaint, filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, also alleges that P. Diddy forced her to engage in prostitution and sex work between 2006 and 2009. Whilst it is important to point out that these are simply allegations brought by somebody in a lawsuit, it's also noticeable that the lawsuit marks the 9th lawsuit brought against P. Diddy since last November, and it's the 8th directly accusing him of sexual assault. One of the 8 lawsuits filed by former girlfriend Cassie Ventura has been settled. Another one accused his son of sexual assault, and P. Diddy is accused of aiding and abetting. His lawyer stated that no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that he's never sexually assaulted or sex trafficked anyone. He stated, "We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason without any proof. Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail against these and other baseless claims in court," the attorney added, where, of course, he's likely to say such things, isn't he? P. Diddy has vehemently denial, the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defense, claims from many of the civil suits, but has not responded to all of the allegations. In December 2023, after 4 lawsuits had been filed against him, he posted a fierce denial on his social media, writing that sickening allegations had been made by accusers looking for a quick payday. He stated, "Let me be absolutely clear, I did not do any of the awful things being alleged." Well, of course, we have seen the video footage that was leaked, which shows him clearly assaulting his former girlfriend. And whilst, of course, one must ensure that there is examination on the facts, like many narcissists, he's finding out that many of his alleged victims are coming forward, and there's more than one, who are all telling a similar story, in his case, in relation to sex trafficking and sexual assault. It remains to be seen, naturally, where these claims get to, But the very fact of their existence, the multiplicity of them, and the fact that we know that P Diddy is a narcissist, see my examination of him elsewhere, demonstrates once again the concept of collateral consequences and how, where you give it long enough, the evidence starts to accumulate to demonstrate what the narcissist is. The rope starts to be fed out and has those consequences for the narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.